Hi there, welcome to this UP's course on terrorism and transnational organized crime. My name is Jor Kaminga, I work for Oxfam, and I'm a senior fellow at the Netherlands Institute of International Relations, Klingendaal. Narco-terrorism, narco-jihadism, narco-insurgency, mafia state, narco-state, and even narco-terror state. Many labels have been used in the past decades to describe the interlinkages between international phenomena such as the illicit drugs economy, the arms trade, transnational organized crime, conflict, corruption, and terrorism. Professor Louise Shelley has recently called these the dirty entanglements. For example, Mexico's dire situation has been described as a narco conflict. Colombia's FARC and Afghanistan's Taliban have both been labeled as drug cartels in recent years. In Afghanistan, NATO has recently even gone so far to start bombing opium processing laboratories in a military response to what they call the Taliban's narcotics financing. This course explores the linkages between crime, terrorism, and conflict as key global governance challenges in the 21st century. It aims to help you, the students, develop a nuanced view about the extent to which such interlinkages are real or perhaps political fabrications to promote or defend certain policies. Therefore, an important part of this course will relate these issues to the policy positions of states and international institutions. For example, in Afghanistan, there has been quite a political push after 2005 by both the United States, the United Nations, and NATO to increasingly link the Taliban to the illicit opium economy. So, questions tackled during this course will then be what has been the effect of such securitization moves using the concept of the Copenhagen School of Security Studies? Are politicians and military leaders able to frame conflicts or situations of insurgency or fragility in such a way that highlight the need to address certain transnational crimes? Or, vice versa, is the quote unquote fight against transnational crime used as a Trojan horse for other political priorities? Related to this, the course will also discuss the link between the illicit trade of natural resources in relation to conflict. So, what are, for example, the key trends when it comes to the role of so called conflict resources in perpetuating civil wars and other types of conflict? Sierra Leone is still one of the most used examples where the presence of natural resources, in this case especially diamonds, resulted in political turmoil, violent conflict, and a vicious cycle of structural underdevelopment. But how does such a resource curse play out in other contexts? Can we speak about a resource curse, for example, in Afghanistan, where this illicit opium economy seems to be really an impediment to development? This course also looks at the scope of linkages between crime, terrorism, insurgency, and conflict, as well as the main trends. Are we talking about new developments, or has little actually changed since the 20th century when linkages between drugs, crime, conflict, and political violence were already identified and discussed? What is the effect of globalization? What has been the influence of 9/11, Al Qaeda, and the rise of Islamic State on this debate? Is it true, as Robert Muga and John Sullivan claimed in a recent foreign policy article from September 2018, that future conflicts will mostly be waged by drug cartels, mafia groups, criminal gangs, and terrorist organizations? And lastly, this course includes two case studies, Afghanistan and Colombia, which will illustrate some of the linkages involved and will assess how important solving the linkages and solving the illicit drugs economy is for local and national processes of security, development, and peace building. So I have chosen Colombia as I did the field research for my PhD there on the topic of international responses to the illicit drugs economy. And I've also lived for several years in Colombia, in Medellin and in Cali. And I have chosen Afghanistan as I've been also working there since 2005. I've been living there for a few years, and every year I constantly go back there to study, let's say, these kind of phenomena, but in the broader framework of the linkages between security and development. The objective of these case studies is to go a bit more in depth, but also to ask questions about what can we learn from these two countries for other fragile and conflict-affected environments. And what do these case studies have to tell us about the feasibility of winning, if that's possible at all, the interrelated struggle against crime, insurgency, and terrorism? So I'm looking forward to discussing these and other matters with you in the course. Thank you very much.